Hello and welcome to GMX Live. I'm your host, Mental9R, and this is a little different today. You'll notice my normal cohort, Finn Tintin, is not here, but you know what? What's better than Finn Tintin? Two guys from the Game Complainerz. I've got Perry and Frank with me today. Perry, why don't you say hello and tell the people where they can find you and who you are?
What's going on, everybody? You could find me over on YouTube, the Game Complainers podcast. The channel is just the Game Complainers on YouTube. Also on X, Game Complainers with a Z because somebody stole our name on there, so I got screwed up with that. But here we are. I've been podcasting on YouTube for a little over 10 years, but I've been on YouTube for almost 20 years.
Sorry about that. My kid came to my door. I had to grab something from him.
That's
Gotta
okay.
love it. But and Frank, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I podcast with Perry on the Game Complainers every Wednesday night as well. You can find me at FZAH928 on Twitter if you ever want to get in touch with me. I got all my Xbox Live and PSN and stuff there. So, yeah, I mean, we podcast every Wednesday. I've been doing it since like 2016, 2017. And here we are.
Awesome. Jeez, you guys are so experienced, and I'm such a noob. I've been doing this for just over a year and a bit.
Oh.
Actually, it's longer. It's about a year and a half. I think when I started with Noof on the Gaming Fuse, that was around June or so, 2023, I think. So I guess
Oh,
it's been
wow.
a year and a half. So a veteran of many shows now. But as far as my own show, that's not been that long, but it's all good. So we got quite a few topics, well, four main ones, but if probably larger than average, and that is the first topic of the day. We'll be talking about Ubisoft and what the heck is going on with Ubisoft because they are, wow, that's small. They are kind of messed up. And the latest news that came out with those guys is that they're going to be shutting down X Defiant. It's only been live since May, and they're shutting it down June next year. We've got a year where we got Star Wars Outlaws is struggling. We've got the Prince of Persia that underperformed. I mean, Skull and Bones, I forgot that game even came out, if that doesn't tell you something. And other things that would indicate they're struggling is they're expanding their storefront perks for the, I don't know, do you guys ever shop on the Ubisoft PC storefront?
It's
No.
horrible.
It's
I
really
have.
bad. I have, and I've sworn off it as of earlier this year. I've quit using their launcher. It's terrible, especially since their games came back on Steam. That's where I'll be getting them. But
Oh, yeah.
I do have some points collected there, and not that it's super tempting to go back and use them, but you can use your 100 points will get you 20% off even a sales price. Sometimes that's kind of how they got me, and then they give you more points when you buy the stuff. But they've added other exclusive in-game content and rewards such as legendary weapons, character skins, emotes, other consumables and things that come with it. And then another thing that I think is funny, just looking at the headline on this particular article, they want Steam to hide concurrent player counts. You don't do that if you're successful. It definitely would be an indicator to me that they're really struggling and they're feeling it. What do you think's going on at Ubisoft, Frank? I'll let you go first on this one.
Well, that's pretty embarrassing that they're like, hey, can you hide the player count? Because they know that it's going to be super low.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty crazy. Pretty
I
crazy.
think part of their problem is they like bit off more than they could chew. I think they thought they were bigger than they are. They made their own storefront, which I think was a bad idea. Um, they had like their own version of Game Pass, but it was expensive and it was only for their games. And their games drop pretty quickly. So
Yeah,
it's like you're going to spend $17 a month or you wait a month and the game's going to be $35 anyway, So I think that was a mistake. And
definitely agree.
the whole thing, we've said it a million times, the copy and paste, and then the fact that they copy and paste their games and then they're arguably worse. Like I would say Far Cry 6 is worse than Far Cry 5, which it should be getting better and better, but they just can't seem to nail down where they're going with stuff. I don't know. It's a whole bunch of things that have just been compounding to this point where they're ready to go under, and kind of. I mean, they're close.
Yeah, they're definitely in a bit of a spiral. I mean, you look at their stock price, you throw that in on top. Uh, it's insane how far they've fallen. What are your thoughts, Perry?
Like Frank said, they have a lot of copy and paste games. They have a lot of games that, to be fair, they have games that do hit and they have a lot of games that don't hit. And I
Yeah,
think the problem is they just keep going back to the same games year by year. And it's like, some of these franchises need to cool off a little bit. Um,
that's a really good point. Like, they are not afraid to go back to that same well, and I think they're bleeding it dry. Like, who in their right mind wants to play Assassin's Creed as frequently as those games come out? Uh,
it's funny, 20 years ago, you would never think, 20 years from now, I'm still going to be playing Assassin's Creed. Like, if you really
yeah.
thought that 20 years ago, you'd be like, wait a minute, why
Well,
am I
and how
still going
many
to play this 20 years?
exactly? How many do they even have? Like, if you count all the sort of like, wasn't there mobile ones and crap? Like, geez, it just feels like every 10 minutes I'm looking at a new Assassin's Creed coming out.
They even had those side mission ones, side story ones that were on like the Vita, and then that was good apparently, so they put that on the actual PS3, and then they
Yeah.
have like the mini ones that came out, like the Assassin's Creed like China one and all that stuff. They just kept making like all different versions of these games, and it's like there's so many. It's like
I pulled it up here. There's 13 mainline and 17 spin-offs.
wow.
And it hasn't. I don't even think
Jeez.
it's been 20 years. Though they started like
It's like
2005,
30,
2006.
30 freaking. Like, okay, the last one that I played through to completion was Black Flag, like Assassin's Creed 4, I think that
Right.
was. Um, I played that on PS4, and I mean, I didn't platinum it, but I finished the main thing. I killed, I think there was those, what, God of War ships or something at the end where you have to sail off out into the middle of nowhere, and then you kind of like the boss battle. I did a bit of that stuff, and then I called her quits, and I haven't finished an Assassin's Creed game since. To be perfectly honest, I mean, that one had me. I mean, I was walking around singing sea shanties in the house, and my wife was looking at me like I was crazy. What would you do with a drunken sailor? All that crap, and having a great time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't see how something like Valhalla fits into the Assassin's Creed genre. Doesn't really make sense to me. It's completely outside of what Assassin's Creed was. And they're just calling everything Assassin's Creed, and I think that's what's kind of turned me off personally, is you tend to get a bit sick of it when everything is called that. And it all kind of has that same bit of a feel, but it's like it's lost its identity, I think, to me, is partly what's going on. Uh, I don't know. It's pretty bizarre. Pretty bizarre. And you see the way their games just consistently underperform. It's no wonder their stock's in trouble. And I do wonder, as a company, what they're going to do to turn it around. I think you guys were talking about it on your own show. The odds of them getting bought out are pretty high at this point. They're worth next to nothing considering the assets they have and the IPs they have. It's just kind of been run into the ground, and it's sad to see because I remember looking forward to Ubisoft games back in the day. They had a lot of good stuff at one point. I don't know. Any more thoughts on that, you guys? Like, feel free to speak up.
I think the main issue with Ubisoft or Ubisoft, I don't even. How do you say it?
I say Ubi, and sometimes I say Ubi. I
Let's
don't
say
know because I've
Ubisoft.
heard it both ways.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm like confused. They can't make it. If someone buys this thing, please change the name. Make it like Ralph. This way
Or
people
spell
can
it
know how
out
to
so
say
we
it.
know how to say it.
Ralph Dahl. I prefer that.
Yeah. Man, you almost
Uh,
made me spit my monster drink on my keyboard.
Oh no.
Jeez.
um,
Oh, that's funny.
anyway, I would say this is an example of, like you said earlier, they keep going back to the well with the IPs. They have plenty of IPs to pull from. Rayman, I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And there's other games that they own that they've just locked away. It's time to rotate these out.
For sure.
Unfortunately, I think they're going to be sold off or they're going to sell their assets one way or the other. But this is an example to other companies like, yes, you're making a ton of money off these IPs now, but in order to keep the company going, it's better to put different games in rotation. See what works, see what doesn't work. For years, people wanted the new Splinter Cell game.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten it. And I think this is the main problem. Watch Dogs, I'm going to be honest with you. Watch Dogs was only popular because PS4 and Xbox One didn't have GTA 5 at the time.
Yeah.
The minute GTA 5 came out, everyone forgot about Watch Dogs. And then, Ubisoft was like, oh, we're going to keep this franchise going, blah, blah. And it never did as well as the first because, again, you didn't have GTA 5 on those consoles. So that was the closest clone that you could get at the time. But they just kept going with it. And that last one barely sold. And the one that came out like 4 years ago, Legion, for the Series X and the PS5.
I did play that. Played it right through. I didn't mind that game. It wasn't
I played
bad.
a little bit of it too.
I think I played it more because it was a new game on a new console.
Yeah.
And, graphically it was quite good looking. There was no performance mode to start with, but it had ray tracing in it. And at the time, I didn't have a graphics card on my PC that did ray tracing. So there's all these little sort of hooks that pulled me into it to play it. And I mean, it wasn't a bad game, but it also wasn't like the original Watch Dogs. I liked that game. And I played it through to completion on the PS4. I enjoyed it. And yeah, it wasn't quite what they advertised. Like, I remember the trailer was like, oh man, this is going to be amazing, right? Like, everybody I knew that was into video games was talking about Watch Dogs and how amazing it looked. Of course, they pulled the rug out from under us, and the real product wasn't quite what they advertised. And that's me putting it lightly, I guess, or politely, however you want to say that. But
we remember.
Yeah, the Watch Dogs 2, I had heard, oh, it's really good. I've tried to play that a few times, and I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is about that one. It just doesn't click with me. So, I don't know.
I played the first level of that game, and there's just a lady going, oh, and I'm like, what kind of music is this?
Yeah. Man, like, I forget how many IPs they really have. Like, there's a lot of games that they actually own, and I don't know. Like, if I was to say, well, if you guys were to like pick a franchise that they've kind of let slide and go by the wayside to bring back, what one would it be?
For me, it would be Rayman. But, I mean, Rayman's been in and out. But, I mean, the last Rayman, I think, for the Nintendo was for the Wii U. Rayman Origins.
They re-released it on Switch, but yeah.
They did release it or no?
Yeah. They re-released it on Switch.
But they haven't released the newer one on Switch. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, where has that gone? And they have a lot of other games, too. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I remember them from the Super Nintendo and Genesis days. I mean, they have a lot of games out there.
Yeah, they do. And I'm trying to think of something other than the main ones that we've talked about, too. And I'm trying to cheat, actually, and I'm trying to load up Ubisoft Connect on my PC, but I haven't used it in so long, it's got to update and crap. So I'm sitting here like, oh, okay, the cheat's not working. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a waste of a company in so many respects because they've put all their eggs in that one basket called Assassin's Creed, or at least that's how it feels.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm typing my passwords in here. I'm going to see if I can get in there. Of course, it's probably going to force me to...
You got to get your keyboard away from your microphone.
Is it loud?
No.
It should be. The noise canceling should clean that right out.
I'm only joking because that was a comment on New Show when I was typing.
Oh, okay.
That guy's keyboard is right on top of his microphone. I'm like, my microphone is up here. My keyboard's like far back.
Hey, Perry, check the settings and make sure your right mic is selected. I think it's just the stream thing. I'm not used to the sound, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, let me double check.
just in
sounds
case.
not too bad to me.
It sounds good, but I'm used to like hearing him on Discord, so I just wanted to make sure.
Oh,
could
man, you're
be,
right.
could be.
It's right. I'm right. Okay, I know
You
I'm not
are
going
right,
crazy.
sir.
You know his voice.
I do. Surprisingly,
creepy.
that mic sounds
How
good.
now?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's
butter.
better. Look at that.
All right, good. Well, that's a stupid thing. I thought it saved my settings from
Oh,
this show.
you sound beautiful now. Like you didn't even sound
Yeah,
bad
now
before.
you're-
That's why I was confused. I was like, wait, like it sounds different, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's really filled out the depth of your voice now.
Was that your
There you go.
webcam mic?
Yeah, that was the Logitech Brio.
Wow, it actually is a decent mic. I'm
Well,
surprised.
for
Not that
$200,
bad.
it's better.
Not that
Yeah.
bad.
But now you sound buttery smooth. Okay,
Oh,
good.
good.
I'm
Okay.
glad I thought of that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it pulled my virtual background, so I thought it pulled my audio. I guess not. All right, whatever.
So here's a no-brainer.
Bro.
Splinter Cell. I mean,
Yeah.
where's Splinter Cell? I mean, how long have people been asking for that? Forever. And they
Forever.
just seem to refuse to want to make that game again. And, I mean, Far Cry's been overdone.
They
Ghost
killed it.
Recon, they turned into a kind of a bastardized version of what was good way back in the day. I have no use for that anymore. Rainbow Six, they've just been milking Siege till I don't know what.
They actually
Like,
had
they-
that extraction game which bombed because nobody
Yeah.
was done with Siege yet. So
Well, and I mean, I got to give them a little credit. They did try with Immortals Phoenix Rising, and
right.
the game was fun for me for about 20 hours, and then I got bored with it and never finished it. Yeah, it just feels like, I don't know why, Assassin's Creed just dominates my brain when I think of Ubisoft. But they do have a few other franchises. I'd love to see Splinter Cell come back. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or even a campaign-style Rainbow Six game. Like, they haven't done that since, Rainbow Six New Vegas.
Yeah,
If
that
I
would be
remember, I
great.
think that's the last one, right? And that was on 360. So again, just they let them go and let them die, and I don't know. Something like that could be a nice path for them to try and gain back a few of their fans from, days gone by. But anyway, I don't know. Any guys have any more thoughts on that? Frankie, I don't know if you mentioned a game you'd like to see him bring back.
Well, obviously Rayman. The last two Rayman games they made were awesome. They're like side-scrolling platformers, but I'd like to see them go back to like 3D Rayman. And if I was them now, just to get money, I would remaster the old Rayman games. Even though like a lot of people hate remasters, it's a good way to get some money up. And
Well,
I
I completely agree, especially in a case where those games are old. Like, we're talking 360 era, if I'm not crazy, right?
the first Rayman was on like PS1. Like they're really old.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
like,
they're
I'm just
relatively
thinking, like-
cheap to like remaster, I would think,
Yeah. I'm thinking of the latest one, which I believe was on 360. Am I crazy?
They
Or
were
was it the
playable.
OG Xbox?
I don't even know. Was there even one on there on the OG Xbox? I don't even
I'm not
remember.
sure.
I
What,
think
Rayman?
four came out on like what? Like was it? Oh yeah, maybe it was.
Rayman 3 came out on Dreamcast. I remember that.
That's the one I'm thinking of. And then Rayman 4.
Rayman 3, I think, came out on the 360 on Xbox Live Arcade because I think it is backwards compatible. But yeah, I don't
Okay.
think you got one on the original Xbox. I can't remember.
Okay.
Did they not
Yeah.
do a 4? I think 3 might have been like the last 3D one.
Yeah, it might have
2003.
been 3 for 3D.
Yeah, so I mean they should go back to that. Yeah, it was on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. And N-Gage.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember
Yeah.
an original Xbox.
Yeah, like I have vivid memories of that, the cover with the 360 sort of like artwork around it. That's why I was thinking that there was one there, but maybe that's
look
just
it
the
up.
back compat
Yeah,
version of it.
Rayman 3 HD. So they put it on 360 in HD.
Okay.
And then that's on there. And the newer Rayman Legends and Rayman Origin games are on 360 and PS3 as well. So,
Okay.
but that's it. I mean, that's not a lot for how many games they have and how much time it's been.
Well, no kidding. No kidding. And like I say, I just when I hear Ubisoft, I think Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. Uh, and I have trouble thinking of anything else they've put out recently. So it's never a good scene when that's the situation. But all right, well, why don't we wrap that? We'll move on. And yeah, the next topic. Hey, good news! Xbox is coming out with some Squid Game controllers. This probably excites the heck out of you.
I never watched it, but if it looks good, maybe.
Yeah, I put this in here just because it's the old meme, right? Xbox releases more controllers than games.
Oh yeah.
And it's just kind of, I don't know. I felt like just kind of funny in an era where you have PS5 Pro and you've got, I don't know, stuff like that. The Switch 2's on the horizon and we get more controllers. That's cool. And I don't know. I do like the Xbox controllers. I've got, I don't know, 15 of them probably over on my wall over there. But and these are SCUF ones too, so like the price tag is not exactly cheap.
That's way too much.
I really don't need them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one SCUF controller, just because I wanted to get it. It's optic gaming, and they are kind of cool the way that the upper shell. Do you have one? Have you ever had a SCUF?
No.
Like the black shell that you see there, that's just magnetic. You pop it off and you can change shells on it. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and I do like the way like it's got the paddles on the bottom, but they're different than what's on the Elite controllers.
Yeah.
They're I don't know, I should probably just get the controller, but you have like opposites of each other, so you can click inward towards the paddle and push out to get the other functionality. So it's kind of a neat way they've done it. I do like the controller. I don't use it a lot because it was so expensive. I don't want it to break. But and their quick triggers are really nicely done. When you have it on the fastest setting, it literally feels like a mouse click.
Wow.
It's like that instant. So they're a nice controller, but I think they are overpriced for sure. I don't know. Any thoughts on the Squid Game controllers or other thoughts on Microsoft? I know I kind of harped on them a little bit, but just kind of feels like the flavor of the day to give them a hard time about stuff.
If it's SCUF, I'm out because I don't really. That's a lot of money. If it's like a regular controller, sometimes I'll bite, sometimes I won't. Let's just say I didn't feel the burn last year or earlier this year.
For sure.
The controllers look good. I saw the Squid Game controller, but it's too much money.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh, I see. There's a video too. I won't play the video, but I've never watched the Squid Games.
Me neither.
Everyone says it's great, but I guess if that's one of them, that's kind of cool.
The red one is the one I would go with, the one on the bottom there, but I wouldn't spend that much. I just like the way that one looks.
Yeah, that gives me Deadpool vibes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Not bad. Like, okay, I'll order one. No, I'm just kidding. Sold.
What if you spent all that money and then you watch the show and you're like, this is terrible? It's like, oh no.
Yeah. No, I won't be doing that. Won't be doing that. All right.
Battlestar Galactica controller.
Where? What?
What if they make one of those? Are you all into that one?
I see what you're saying. I thought there was one there. I'm like, wait, what?
He's getting
so I
his
guess
credit
that
card
answers
ready.
your question. I might be into Battlestar Galactica controller. Maybe. That would be kind of cool. I've got my background kind of blurred, but I've got like Battlestar Galactica stuff on the shelf behind me there.
Nice.
That was a great TV series. If you haven't watched it, the 2004 remake of it was thumbs up from this guy. Nice. For sure. Okay, any other thoughts about an Xbox Squid Game controller? Anyone in the chat? Oh, pink. Hey, Pink Piggles. It's pink and black. Yay.
I'd rather have a squid controller, like a controller with a squid on it. That would be cool.
Oh. Yeah, that would be kind of cool, maybe.
I really didn't like how Microsoft released those X-Men 97 controllers, but they were like internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we couldn't buy them as consumers, and they're showing the packaging, and I'm like, you know how much money this would have made if you would have just sold them to like regular people?
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I
no
don't understand
kidding.
about Xbox. They'll do things
Yeah.
like that, make really cool accessories, but it's only for like their internal people that work there, and it's like,
Yeah.
guys, we would be all over that.
Yeah, or some kind of contest or whatever where, maybe somebody that doesn't work there gets one. You don't even know. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's funny. All their contests, you never find the winner ever, but then you always
yeah,
see the prize. If you notice, years later, you'll see the prizes that were supposed to be given away in the background of some of these guys
yeah. And
when
it's
they do
funny
interviews
because
for
you
like
said it.
studios.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, like, have I ever seen a winner?
No,
Never.
no one's ever tweeted, "Hey, I won the." Remember that Tomb Raider Xbox One X?
Yeah,
The contest ended one day, and years later, one of
Yeah.
the developers there were doing an interview. It was in the background, not Phil Spencer, but somebody else.
They never end up
Crazy.
on eBay. There's never videos of them. Like, you can't
Yeah.
find it. Once it's gone, it's gone. That's it.
And the only ones that end up on eBay, brand new, by the way, are the Taco Bell ones. There's like people with like 400 Taco Bell consoles on their eBay page. It's like, where did they get 400 brand new Taco Bell consoles from?
yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, yeah, I never really thought about it until we're just talking about it. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a winner.
You know what's funny? The Cyberpunk Xbox One X. I waited every day for that to go up
Yeah.
on Best Buy. I went to bed one night, and at like 3 in the morning, it went up and sold out. But the day of pre-order, magically on eBay, a bunch of people, influencers, were selling them sealed.
Seriously,
Yeah, and I bought one from one of the influencers.
man.
It was like an
Yeah,
extra
that
$50.
was a nice console.
Yeah, it was. I wish I could have kept it, but the One X was coming out. I'm sorry, the Series X was coming out in a few months. So I only had
Yeah.
it for a couple of months, and then I got rid of it and got the Series X.
Yeah,
So confused.
yeah. Like I probably would have, if I didn't already have the Gears 5 one,
Yep.
I would have definitely tried to get that console. But just didn't make sense for me to have another collectible like Series X one or One X one. I mean,
Yeah.
geez, they got to fix their names. But yeah. Anyway, alrighty. Like I say, I'm guilty of a number of limited edition controllers. Been doing that with PlayStation now too. It's kind of weird, but it is what it is. We all have our vices, right? I'm a sucker for limited edition hardware. So this one I thought was an interesting title. Why do we enjoy it when games fail? Now, I don't myself necessarily enjoy it when games fail. I always think of the developers that put their hard, effort into the game to try and make it great. And, sometimes they just don't hit. Like, you look at a Concord, as much as it's kind of funny that it died that fast and never wasn't even able to break 700 concurrent players on Steam, that's pretty bad when you really think about it, right? And they should have known, even from the beta. I was amazed that they didn't delay it because the feedback wasn't great. And then, charging the $40, everyone said, hey, you shouldn't be charging for it. It should be free to play. You got to change your model. And they just didn't listen to anybody. And this is one where I'm kind of like, well, learn your lesson, right? And I kind of enjoyed it failing. Typically, I don't. I don't enjoy the fact that all those developers lost their jobs when they shut down the studio. All of that stuff that sucks. But when you think about the money they spent on it and only to walk away, that just seems crazy to me. But yeah, there's a part of me that's like, ha ha. And you should have listened. You should have listened to the players and the people that buy your products, and not just forge ahead with this pig-headed attitude that you're going to do it your way and everybody better like it or else.
That is the Sony way, Mental 9R.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read this whole article. I read a little bit of it. I don't know if you guys had time to read it before the show. But there's a psychology to it, I guess, and some people just enjoy seeing stuff fail. And I'm not typically that person, but what do you guys think on it? Either one of you can throw your bits in.
Like you, I don't enjoy seeing games fail because, people's jobs and livelihoods are on the line.
Yeah,
However, when like the Concord trailer they showed, everyone was like, "This looks like crap. No
yeah,
one's playing this." You had time. You had like 3 months before the game launched to take that feedback in. And like you said earlier, their pig-headed attitude, they were like, "Oh no, people are just going to buy this anyway. People love our
yeah,
exclusives because they poisoned that well,
yeah,
brainwashed everybody with that." It just didn't work this time, and I think Sony was caught off guard. Like, oh my god, our fan base that loves exclusives isn't buying this exclusive. I
yeah,
think they were. It was a rude awakening for Sony for that. Um, but here's the thing: if a game looks like crap, we're just not going to want it. And then when it fails, we're going to be like, "Well, we told you it was going to fail, so we're happy it failed because now you know." But on our side, when we say that and joke around, people are losing their jobs and their livelihoods, so it's not cool. But I think the issue is the suits. They don't pay attention to the pulse of the gamer. They don't have their pulse on the gamer. And I think that's
yeah,
the issue. And that's why it goes back to Ubisoft as well. They just don't listen to the audience. And
yeah,
I'm not saying you listen to the audience 100% of the time, but you got to take a little bit of what the audience is telling you and sit down and think, okay, everyone's saying this game looks like crap.
yeah.
We have 3 months. Do we stop here? Do we do free to play? How do we get out of this? What can we do? How can we get feedback from the community on how to improve this game? And instead, like you said, again, pig-headed, just
Yep.
released it. And
Forged ahead. I mean, the pre-sales on it were terrible. That should have
yep,
told them something. I don't know what they magically expected to happen on launch day.
I
That
think
suddenly everyone would go, "Oh, it's out. Buy it." No.
I think they were counting on the exclusive. You know,
Yeah, maybe.
I
Maybe.
think that's what they were counting on, and it didn't hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, clearly, probably, well, the biggest flop I can think of ever. And I've been around a while when it comes to gaming, and I can't think of a game that's failed harder than that.
Yeah, I
You look at
mean,
the cost.
we always joked about the Wii U flopping, but the Wii U actually stayed on the market for a few years.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's still sold, and,
Yeah,
games came out for it. And yeah, I mean, it was no like Wii and it was no Switch, but, it's still sold. It's probably sold as many as series consoles have. You know, I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know what the exact sales were on it, but yeah, this is crazy uh, when you think of Concord in this respect. But what do you think, Frank?
I think there's something inherently in us that like wants to be right. So I think a lot of this like celebrating when something fails is more for it does happen for like everything like Concord for instance, which is a new thing, but a lot of times it's for already established IPs. Like for instance, say the next Resident Evil mainline game, not a spin-off, became an RTS. We would be like that's going to fail, that sucks, and we'd be happy if it failed because that's not what we want when we go to play Resident Evil. But in the same vein, even though this happens more rarely, once in a while you're surprised the other way. Like for us with when Helldivers 2 was coming out, we're like, oh, that's gonna flop, that's gonna suck, it's whatever. And they completely changed the makeup of the game and it was a huge success.
Yeah,
So I think that it does go both ways with that, but I think people want to just be right. So when you see something flopping that you were like you said was going to flop, you're like, yeah, see, I was right about it. Like I knew this was going to happen. And it's, it
yeah,
goes like that for a lot of things, not just games, but everything. Movies, when you see them remaking your favorite movie and it looks like total trash, you're like, oh, I hope that flops. And then it does. And you're like, yeah, look, see, I was right.
woohoo!
That always
I
happens.
knew it was. I knew it was garbage.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of that going on with Disney stuff right now, right?
Hmm.
The fans are not happy with most everything that Disney seems to put out these days, and there's a lot of people that are pretty happy to see it fail. And
Yeah.
how many billions have they lost?
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy, and yet they still keep doing the same things that are costing them money. But yeah, it's a strange world. I think maybe it's partly you sit back as an average Joe, and you watch these multi-millionaire executives make the wrong choice. There's maybe some satisfaction in that. Perhaps you see these billionaire company or billion-dollar companies losing money, and maybe there's some satisfaction in that because there is quite a wage discrepancy that's developed in the last decade and a half or so between the guys working the front lines and the executives sitting on top making all these weird decisions that are costing them money. So I don't know, maybe that plays into it a little bit, but
There definitely needs to be the structure in gaming just isn't working anymore, or the way that
yeah,
it's been going for the last few years. Because, like you said, the suits are not in touch with the audience and they're not in touch with the developers.
yeah,
I think they need to work together to make this work. I mean, there's no I in team, so
yeah. I mean,
they need to
ultimately,
figure this out.
you can't blame the devs. They're just doing what they're told to do. They're
Yeah,
making the game
I'm
they're
just saying,
told
like
to make.
the suits
Yeah,
really need to sit down with the devs and be like,
yeah, you're right.
"Hey guys, this is what we want to do. What do you think since you're making our game for us?" Well, we think that that's not going to work. Okay, why don't we take this into account? We'll have meetings about it, and like they have to like get together and get this done. There's a disconnect in between,
Yeah, and
and we
then
suffer as consumers, and they suffer as a company. That's
yeah,
that's the issue. Like there's just no one's working together. It seems like.
yeah. No, it's the level of insanity involved in all of it is pretty unbelievable
Oh
when
yeah,
you really think about it. Communication's an amazing tool.
isn't
But
that
if you
funny,
don't if
right?
you don't actually communicate, yeah, it's nuts that this much money can be flushed down the toilet. And like what was Concord, by the time they bought Firewalk and finished the game, it was something, the rumors are $400 million. That's crazy.
It's
That's
insane
absolutely insane. And then they just write it off.
on a brand new IP too.
Yeah.
Ah,
And you
man, I
walk
don't know.
away and who was it, the exec at Sony that was talking about this game like it was going to be their future too. Like they had really high opinion of it and really high hopes for it, that it was going to be an ongoing like hero shooter that people are going to love. And it's like, who was their test group? Like, who are they
I,
running it past that thought this was, yeah, you guys are doing it, this is great, keep it
no
up?
clue.
Like,
I think it was too long of a development cycle, and they were too deep, and they're like, "Well, I guess we got to go through with this now
yeah,
because
that
what are
could
we
play
gonna
into
do?"
it for sure. Yeah, it's crazy though. Very, very bizarre. Anyway, any other thoughts on why we enjoy it when games fail? Even though we've all agreed that we don't necessarily enjoy it, but every now and then there's one where we're like, yeah,
You know what it is like for going back to Ubisoft. You know, I'm like this actually applies to that. I'm kind of happy they're failing. You know why? Because I don't have to hear about Assassin's Creed anymore. You know,
true.
which is sad. It's sad I have to say something like that, but
Yeah,
you've been hearing about these games for so long. It's like I'm so tired of hearing about this.
yeah, yeah. It would be like, I mean, part of me is like, I'm glad it's not doing well because make some other games.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Give us a break from Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
If you were to walk away from it for 5 or 6 years,
Yeah.
then people would be excited for a new Assassin's Creed.
Hell yeah.
But when you're
Because
dropping them every year, and sometimes, like, I think there's been years when two have come out, hasn't there? Or maybe I'm exaggerating. It just
no, I
feels
think
that
that's right.
way. But uh, you've saturated the market. It's like what or Activision did with Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah.
They took a franchise that, I loved Guitar Hero. I played it all the time on the Xbox 360. It was fantastic, but then they just kept bringing it out, and it just suddenly I was like, okay, yeah, no, now I've lost interest. Who could keep up with it at
Beatles,
that
Green
point?
Day, AC/DC.
Yeah.
It's like what that Van Halen, rock. And it's like
Yeah.
they didn't even put like the main songs on those either. I bought the
Yeah.
Van Halen Guitar Hero or Rock Band. Which one was it? Was it Guitar Hero?
Guitar
Van
Hero.
Halen? The dude looks like a
Yeah.
lady's not
It's
on there. Some of these other songs aren't on there. It's like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Right
Yeah, it was
now
such-
isn't on there. The song from the Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, so many weird decisions that they get made, and it's like, come on, guys, like, are you that out of touch with what your audience wants? But they just keep doing it. They know better, and I mean, Call of Duty's kind of in that same boat. Although Black Ops 6 is highly regarded and has done quite well, for a while there, I just didn't care anymore about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
There were just, even though it's, different sort of genre, alternating between the standard Call of Duty and Black Ops, and there was like kind of 3 different game versions they'd put out. It was still Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and you get kind of tired of it, I think, over time, or at least I do anyway. But it's not that I want anything really to fail, though. It's just sometimes you get to a point where it's like, okay, this one can fail. It won't bother me.
Oh yeah.
And maybe they'll switch it up. But alrighty. I don't have anything else to say on that. Do you guys have any last thoughts? You good?
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
Final topic. At least what we have planned for anyway. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is doing far better than I expected personally. For some reason, well, maybe the Xbox curse, I don't know. I thought for sure it was going to be like a, mid 70 kind of game, Metacritic. I did not expect it to be well received at all. And I'll say, too, I watched Colt Eastwood's review on it, and I thought right away, this is not a game I'm going to like. Just based on the review, I didn't think I'd like it. But now I've seen a few other reviews, and, I watched you playing it a bit there, Perry, as well. And I'm thinking, actually, maybe I will like this game. Maybe it will be something. And, I still have Game Pass for it, so I'll play it in Game Pass and see what it's like. What are you guys' thoughts? Are you surprised by the 87 Metacritic?
After playing it, I only played it for about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I usually don't go by websites and review scores, but I will say I'm not surprised because the game is good. The game is very good. I didn't think I was going to like it.
Right.
I do like the Wolfenstein games big time. I think Machine Games does a great job with those. And I'm thinking, okay, Indiana Jones, that came out when I was a kid. I was just a little kid. Who really is going to want to play this game? We made fun of Todd Howard because we're like, this is his childhood dream is to make an indie game. And maybe it was, but
Yeah.
I played it, man, and I enjoyed it. And I was like, wow, this is some quality right here. It's like, this is the type of game that Xbox should have been making years ago. This is comparable to one of those PlayStation cinematic games that they've been making over the years.
Yeah.
And this is different from Machine Games, and they hit it, man. They nailed it out of the park, in my opinion.
That was the one thing, that Machine Games was involved, because I really like the Wolfenstein series.
Yes.
Me too.
And knowing that they were involved was the one reason I had that hope that this game could be something special.
Right.
And I'm really glad that it is doing well. And it's just not what I expected.
Oh, yeah. Me neither. I thought I would go into this, play it for 5 minutes, and be like, all right, I played it, whatever. I actually bought on CD keys. They had it for $27.99, the premium upgrade, instead of paying $35 on Xbox.
Okay.
And I upgraded because let's be honest here, I pirated the game on PC.
Shh.
Try before you buy.
But listen, I bought the pass because I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop on an hour. I'm going to go back, play it
Start
legit
over.
now on PC,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get all my achievements and do all that stuff, and we're ready to rock and roll. The game was good enough where it sold me on the pass.
There you go.
And you know what? When the game, I'll play it on Game Pass, obviously, because now I bought the pass. I got it early. But when it does go on sale for a cheaper price, I will purchase the game digitally as well. So
There
they
you
sold
go.
me on this game.
No, and that speaks volumes, I think. Frank, I think you said you played it a little bit
I
too.
played like 20 or 30 minutes of it.
Uh-huh.
Like you, I thought it was gonna get like sevens. I was like, even looking at the trailer, I was like, it looks kind of mid. Like, I love machine games, I love Wolfenstein, but I was like, I don't know about this. And I was soured on some of the other Xbox games that came out with performance, so I'm like, I don't trust this. Then
Yeah.
I'm seeing all this stuff. It's running at stable frame rates. It looks great, which Machine Games has always been like doing that stuff. Like even in the Xbox One days, they got
Oh
Wolfenstein
yeah,
running at 60 frames, even when
that
the
infamous
system,
story. Yeah,
yeah, the
Yeah.
system still had the Connect like
the core
power.
for the Kinect.
Yeah, it was still like that, and they still managed to. They dropped the resolution. They got it running at a stable 60, and that always spoke volumes to me about how good Machine
They didn't
Games
drop
is.
the resolution. They worked
Oh,
around the core. They got a 1080 60
wow. I
on
thought
the
they had to
Xbox
drop
One.
it. That's amazing.
Wow.
No, they didn't
Okay.
drop it
Wow.
because that's
Yeah.
they're actual developers, Frank.
Yeah, that's
They
the
don't
thing.
sit there
I
and
trust
cry
them.
about it and say, "Oh, we can't optimize it for this, that." No, they went in there and said, "Okay, everybody, we have to build this game for this system that's limited. We have to do this," and they went in and they did it. 1080
Yeah, they
60
figured it out.
for
Yeah.
Wolfenstein:
Wasn't
The New
the
Order on Xbox One.
wasn't it 4K 60 on the One X?
It might have been, but I know we're talking about
I
like
don't remember.
This was
when was
2013,
it
2014.
2014,
Yeah.
2015, when it first came out on the original Xbox One.
Yeah.
There was the Kinect core. It had a dedicated core,
Yeah.
had a core dedicated for the Kinect,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they
yeah.
had to work around that. That's why a lot of games were gimped on the Xbox One versus the PS4.
Yeah, they underperformed more than they should have. No
Yeah.
doubt.
Well,
Yeah.
Machine Games said, you know what? We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get a 1080 60. We're not doing 720 60.
Yeah.
Sure enough, they got it. They released the game on time. Beautiful.
Their games are really, really good too. Like all those Wolfenstein games are so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and
Oh,
I was watching the videos of this Indiana Jones, and I'm like, this game looks like the graphically and like frame rate, it looks good. Like I was like, man, I could actually sit down and play this. And then I played a little bit of it, even on my old computer. Like it's well optimized, it ran, and so now I'm excited to play it on the Series X and in here on the 4070 and check it out.
yeah. How can you tell you don't have high hopes? It ran.
Well, look,
I mean,
okay.
yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
Flight Simulator and Stalker 2, which came out over the last month.
Yeah.
And then you look at this and you're like, this is what you got to do right here. This is how you do it. Like
For
they
sure.
should all learn from this and use whatever engine they're using and put all their games in that and just do that. Cuz I think it even runs at 60 on the Series S. Granted it looks worse, but hey, that's still
Yeah,
impressive.
it does.
Like
It does run at 60, and I think they're using IdTech engine, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that
Use that for
I mean,
Halo.
ID Software works some freaking magic with that engine. That we know. Like you look at Quake, or Quake.
Doom?
You look at Doom and how well Doom runs. It's amazing, right? And I mean, I'm so looking forward to the new Doom. That
Yeah.
That's
that
gonna be
game looks
crazy.
fantastic. But even I was playing a little bit of Doom 2016 on my PS4 just for kicks the other day, and it runs so good. Yeah, the textures take a while when you load into a new map or whatever. It takes a while to stream the textures in, but 60 FPS and it's pretty solid. And you can cruise around in this little console that has no business playing a game like that looks that good and plays that well. It's just kind of bizarre. And then you see some of these other game engines that you just play like trash. Like UE4 in comparison, the constant stutter and issues with Unreal Engine 4. It's nuts
Yeah.
that idsoft come up with this game engine that's so fantastic. I really hope they do make another Quake. Like that would be, I'd love to see Quake get rebooted.
Yeah, Quake is
That
gonna
would be
when I'm assuming it's not if, it's a matter of when that game gets rebooted, and that's gonna be crazy.
you're probably right. You're probably
Yeah.
right. I hope they do it, and there's been rumors about it for a while. So
Where's
you
Hex and
remember-
Phil?
Do you remember that Quake game that came out in like 2016 17. They had something with that. I don't remember what it was called.
Champions?
Was it Champions?
Yeah,
I think it was
Quick
only on
Champions or
PC.
something?
Yeah, and they put BJ Blazkowicz in it. It was such a good game. I'm like, they should have put that on consoles and like did something with it. I don't know what happened to it. It just disappeared one day.
Yeah, I think it just didn't have the audience.
Yeah.
Xbox really needs to get a hold of Duke Nukem.
I would like
then they
to
would
see
have all the
that
90s
even.
shooters blocked behind their thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to see a Duke Nukem 3D, like modern, modern graphics version of it. I played the crap out of that game. That was awesome. I loved Duke Nukem back in the day.
One
It's
thing
such
about
a good game.
Indiana Jones I'll take back that I said on Noof's podcast the other day, Gaming After Dark. I said, I think it should have been third person, but I'm okay with the first person. I take that back, man. I'm down with the first person.
Really
I think they nailed it.
interesting.
Listen, it's like I said, originally I wanted a third person because you wanted to compete with Uncharted. You're like, this is Indiana Jones. Tomb Raider and Uncharted ripped this franchise off to make their franchises. Indy's
Yeah.
got to show them how it's done. However, I think Indy's showing them how it's done, but in first person. And it works pretty well. I mean, when I was watching, I watched David Jaffe play it for a few minutes, right? Because it went up like randomly the other day, like at 7 o'clock at night or something. And he was streaming. So I was like, let me just look. And his computer was running it like a slideshow. I'm like, this looks boring. I don't think I'm going to like this game. Then I played it and I was like, we're good. This is a really good game.
That's funny. I wonder what his computer is. I find that hilarious that it was running it like a slideshow.
If you can go and check out a stream, you'll probably turn it off after like 2 minutes because it's like a
really?
slideshow. Yeah, I was like, what is he
crazy.
playing? It's 46 over here? Like, what's going on?
Well, I think you like the minimum requirement is has to be an RTX card, so it had
He's
to
got
be
to hit
like,
his turbo button on his computer. Come on.
Yeah, like it has ray tracing that can't be turned off or something, I think, right?
but
Well,
it's not
am I
live
crazy?
yet.
The ray tracing
but
isn't
part
live
of
in
it
on
is, isn't
PC,
it?
which is weird.
Isn't there? I thought there was just a portion of it that was live.
I don't even know.
Like
I had read before I downloaded it that ray tracing wasn't live yet until release, but I don't know if they added something.
I thought they had ray traced global illumination, and then but the reflections and junk like that won't be available until the day one patch.
Yeah, I don't know. I will tell you though, the game looked pretty good for
Cool.
what it was.
I'm excited to give it a try when it comes out. It's just I'm trying to figure out. Like I started playing Silent Hill 2, which I know you're a big fan of, Perry. Still thinking of your stream when you're just losing your mind at it.
I'll
But,
say this about Silent Hill 2 really quick. The game is good. However, since I've never played Silent Hill 2 before, I've never played I played the original for like 5 minutes. I never played it. The game does drive you crazy. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't really tell you where to go. And, people in the comments or in the chat are like, well, you should have played the other one. You should know where to go. It's like, okay, buddy, I didn't play the original, so I don't know where to go. The game doesn't really give you hints like Resident Evil, but apparently this is what people are saying. Well, this is why you have to explore everything. It's like, I don't have time for that. And I was impatient and I started screaming and yelling. So I will say the game is worth the money. But if you have you need a lot of time in your hands. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Like like I say, I'll try and give it a shot. Like I think it's a game I want to try. Playing right through. Like I'm about like maybe 2 hours in, and so far I'm quite enjoying it. I didn't get lost, or at least so far I haven't got lost in the fog anyway. So seem to be fumbling my way through and figuring out where I need to go. But who's to say that won't change?
I don't know.
But so far it hasn't driven me crazy. I'm kind of in the first bit of the town, and let me think here. What have I done? Went through. I remember where you you ripped the plank off the wall, and you
Okay.
beat that first guy up. I've been past that, and I've explored a little more. I think I was in a pub and some other stuff that I've done, but so far I'm really enjoying it. I like the Resident Evil games a lot though, so I don't know if that plays into it or what, but it's been good. It's been good. I'm looking forward to playing it some more, and I don't know. Because Finn's got me sucked into that other stupid game I have to play. Damn it, Finn! I hope you're watching this, you bastard. I've kind of spoiled it, though, now for when we do our review of it. But, yeah, it's quite a game. Quite a game. And that one, I don't see me going back to spend too much more time in there. I might have to give it one more honest try. But I do really like Silent Hill.
Now, do you hope that that game fails? Not Silent Hill,
No,
but the other game.
no, it's a little indie game. I would never. I mean, I'm sure it got really highly reviewed. Apparently, like the ratings on it are supposed to be really good, and at least that's what Finn told me. Maybe he was lying, just to I don't know, like trying to pump it up to me. Where I'm thinking, oh, hey, it's gonna be good. Oh, okay.
If everyone else
I had
is
no
playing
idea
I
what
gotta
it was. Yeah, I had no idea what it was. I never heard of it before. Anyone that's into indie games, it's called Inscription, and I mean, I could see for the right person, it would probably be fun and appealing. But I've never been like turn-based combat kind of individual, and definitely not where it involves cards. Like I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons when I was little. Like I didn't do any of that stuff.
Right.
The only thing I played where battles were turn-based and like had dice involved or something was Risk.
Okay.
That game I played a lot as a kid. I had a 23 game winning streak going with that when I quit playing it.
Wow.
But, yeah, my friends wouldn't play with me anymore because I always won. So I remember one game I took over from one of the guys that had to go home, and all he had left was Argentina, and I came back and won.
Wow.
That's when my friends were like, okay, I'm done. I'm not playing this with you anymore.
Have you ever just
I mean-
been like hours into a game of Risk and you're like, why did I do this? I don't want to play this anymore. Like, it just happens sometimes where you're just, it takes so long that you're like, oh, I just want to stop. Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, it was definitely a game that you didn't just sit down and decide to play. You had to start early or you were going to be up all night.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, it was fun. I liked that game. But like I say, my friends didn't want to play anymore. And this is like we started playing this in our teens, and like I don't know, we were early 20s I think the last time I played it. But a lot of games there. Good times. But I don't have any more topics. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Or we've been going about an hour. That's usually what I like to target. I'm fine with sticking around a bit. Is there anything in the guys in the chat? You got any questions or any thoughts on anything you want us to give our opinions on? I'm happy to do that. Anyone? Bueller?
Is anyone there?
Is anyone there? They've all walked away. They're so excited to be here. Anyway, any other thoughts, guys? Anything you want to talk about? Like I say, I threw together a few topics, but if there's anything you want to cover, any exciting news out there? I know, I think, what's his name? Tom Warren posted something about your game saves in Steam being available on Xbox on Indiana Jones. So if you log into your Microsoft account, so it's basically an Xbox Live link, I guess, or an Xbox Network game save, cloud save.
That's really
pretty
cool.
Yeah.
I think doesn't Halo Infinite I believe does that as well, which is good.
Yeah,
But
Halo Infinite does.
this is what Xbox needs. I mean, they need to streamline their platforms so that if I log in on Steam, say I buy Indiana Jones on Steam, my Xbox save will come with me, and that's great. I don't have to start all over again.
Yeah.
So,
No, it is. It makes you wonder: is there some truth to Steam coming to Xbox, and that's why they're building some integrations? I kind of, on the other hand, while you're logging into your Microsoft account and you're selecting save it in our cloud, I like to see that integration available. I'd hate to see them force it like PlayStation because that would just piss
Oh
people
man.
off. There's no point in doing that, but I think it's good that it's an option. I like options. And, it's one I've got an Xbox account, I'd use it. I have friends that play on PC that do not have an Xbox account and don't want one.
Yep.
So they would just not buy the game in that case. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. Cougar Man's asking, what would be the biggest shock win for Game of the Year? I'm assuming he's talking about the Keeleys,
Oh,
not
God.
my Game of the Year. What do you think? I
the
got
biggest
to
shock-
think about what's even nominated.
It would probably be Astrobot. I think that would be a shock.
Would it? Maybe I don't know enough about the other games or something, but I'm never shocked if Sony wins. I guess is what it comes down to.
Sony's definitely going to win. It just depends on which game. Unless the Elden Ring with the DLC wins, which everyone thinks that's going to win, but I think that's a red herring.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
know.
that's in there so that Wukong wins because Wukong is coming out physically a couple days after the Game Awards.
Yeah.
So it's just ironic that it happens to be coming out physically for the first time right after the Game Awards.
The biggest shock would be if
Yeah.
Balatro wins. Because it's like a
Okay.
card indie game. Like, there's no way that's winning. But hey,
If Kojima made
Possible.
it, would have won.
yeah. But like some rando made that.
Yeah.
Hockey fan has a question here. In a perfect world, what would you want the big three to do? Well, I know what I would want the big three to do.
Well,
I
you're
would-
gonna leave us in suspense.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys were gonna go first. All right.
No, go ahead, man.
What
Go
I
ahead.
would want Nintendo to make a console like the Series X and just end it. Like end this PlayStation Xbox crap. Because Nintendo, if they would have just got their stuff together and gave us good hardware, they have all the third parties, they have all the good first parties. I think Nintendo could clean house. I want better for Nintendo at the end of the day. Microsoft, in a perfect world, I would want them to keep competing with Sony console-wise. I understand everything's different now, so I know people are going to be like, oh, this guy doesn't understand what they're doing. I understand exactly what they're doing, and that's fine. But I think as an old-school gamer, I still would like them to compete console-wise. Sony, yeah, I don't even know. They need to get their stuff together. They need to bring PlayStation back to what it used to be, which was variety. And I think if Sony could figure that out at some point, there'll be more success for them. But until they keep sitting on their asses, we're not going to really get anything. So,
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Well, it's no surprise that Nintendo is like my favorite company, obviously. Repping the Super Nintendo right now.
I'm gonna have to disconnect you just a
Oh, sorry. Bye.
yeah.
If in a perfect world, they would make like a 4K box and just crush the competition, and they would be the only ones. But no, not really. But I would love to see them make good hardware, like Perry said. Get full third-party support. Have like full 4K Call of Duty next to Mario on that. That's like exactly what I want.
Right.
I don't know if they'll do that, but I don't think they ever will, but that's fine. It is what it is now. Xbox, keep making hardware, stay in the console space, make your plan clear of what you're going to do. Stop like messing around with this and just tell us, hey, this is where we're headed. And I would hope they would stay in the console market. Sony, kind of like Perry said, variety, bring back your old IPs. There's tons of them that are really good from PS1, PS2. Stop being so greedy. Try to like be a little bit more consumer friendly. That would be ideal. But really just bring back the old IPs. You could charge me $700 if you got all these games I want to play. Right now it's pretty sparse. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Nintendo, I don't have a huge opinion on them either way. I mean, they do their own thing, and clearly they're very successful at it. Like they are their own niche product. No one really competes with them. And just because, Sony or Microsoft brings out a handheld, they're not competing with Nintendo anyway.
Yeah, no way.
It's just not going to happen. As far as Sony goes, I agree. Like they need to bring back some of their older IPs, like revive Killzone. They need a first-person shooter. There's nothing there for them right now. That's part of the market. They don't even have their toe in the water at this point. So, they have that franchise. Bring it back. Do something with it. Yeah, maybe Shadowfall wasn't the biggest Killzone game or wasn't, super highly rated. I enjoyed that game. I bought it like day one on PS4 and played it. And I thought it was a good game. I quite enjoyed it. I just think there's a lot they could do there. I mean, they have SOCOM. There's a lot of games that they have that they just don't do anything with. It makes me think of Ubisoft, I guess, or Ubisoft in some respects.
Exactly.
We see the same, like everyone says, oh, Halo, Gears, and Forza. Well, it's Uncharted, it's Horizon, it's The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
You see the same things over and over from them as
At
well.
least Halo, Gears, and
just-
Forza, they give us something a little bit different in those games, and we wait for them. The
Yeah.
Sony games are literally, like you said, like Ubisoft or Ubisoft, whatever, copy and paste. And
Yeah, it's all
like they're lighting the world on fire. Last of Us too. The story was just bad. The gameplay was good, but the story was horrible.
yeah. That was a disappointing game.
The
for
Horizon
me, too.
games are beautiful looking games. The combat is great, but the story is boring. You're talking to people for like an hour. It's like, I want to
Yeah.
play games there. I don't want to sit there and talk to somebody. I can pick up the phone and do that.
Yeah, no kidding. Like I loved Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden
Yeah.
West. I was done 2 hours. I just couldn't play it.
I was exactly
And it-
the same.
Yeah, it was in PlayStation Plus thing for free, so I didn't buy it. And I kept thinking, oh, I'll go back to it. Well, now it's out of the service because of the way they do things. Their own first party doesn't even stay in the service like that. That's something I think PlayStation really needs to look at and that they could change. Maybe don't put them in day one, but when you put them in there, leave them in there. There's no reason God of War 2018 shouldn't be in there full time. There's no reason Spider-Man 2018 shouldn't be in there full time. For that matter, Miles Morales could be in there full time now. And, maybe next year you put Spider-Man 2 in it. Give your fans a reason to stay subscribed, right? And even if it means they're waiting a couple years, that's not going to hurt your sales. You're going to sell the games anyway. But when you bring in new people, those games are there, and you can hook them on the series because they've played the old ones. Now they're looking forward to the new ones. I don't know. It's a weird model to me, but
This
it is
reminds
what
me
it is.
the way that Sony's acting with this whole subscription thing. It's like they got one toe in, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
That reminds me of Sega of America versus Sega of Japan. Sega of
Yeah.
America was telling them, this is what the audience wants. Sega of Japan says, you don't run the show here, we do. So we're going to tell you what you're going to do over there. And, it cracks Sega.
yeah.
And it,
No, I just
Sony's
think
going to learn
they're-
that way, unfortunately.
There's a lot of stuff they could do differently / better that would really. I mean, let's face it. As annoyed as we are with Xbox and their strategy, their ecosystem is massively better than Sony's.
Yeah, top notch.
It's super good. That's one of the things that I loved about Xbox was the ecosystem and the flexibility it gave me. It's just you kind of want them to keep some of their own IPs,
Yeah.
IPs, and that's the part that if I was looking for something from Xbox, stop being so dumb with your communications. Like their messaging is horrible. It's
Yeah.
one step forward, 4 steps back all the time. Just when you get hyped about their game presentation they did, bad news comes out a week later. It happens every single time. That they need to fix. Maybe shut your mouth, don't say so much, or at least be clear with it. for the next gen consoles, I'll go back to what I've been saying for ages now. It's been almost a year I've been saying, make it full Windows, make every storefront from PC work on it. Just build that beautiful console friendly interface. Let people buy from Steam, let people buy from wherever they want to buy from, and get all the Sony games that way. Then it doesn't feel so bad when you're putting your games on PlayStation, because you have PlayStation's games on your Xbox. You have everything on your Xbox, and you have the best prices on your Xbox because you're getting PC deals. There's no more second-class citizen because that strategy game can only go on PC. You get it anyway. You just have to buy a keyboard and mouse if you want to play it. Big deal, right? Most people would do that. To have that game play on their TV, and they can sit on their couch and have their little mouse working away on the table beside them or whatever, right? There's so much upside to that. It's the only way I really see them salvaging the hardware. I've said it a million times, though, at this point. I don't need to ram it. You guys know. You've heard me talk about it enough. But I think that's what I would do if I was Xbox or running Xbox. And I hope they go down that path, because it'd be fantastic, especially with the little Windows-based handheld to go with it that has its own little dock. The thing is, it just can't be ultra expensive.
Yeah.
They need to figure out how to build it and do it at a price that's gonna sell well. Because if they make it $800, it's just not going to.
You're going to cut off a lot of people that way.
Yeah, you are. And the handheld should be viewed as a replacement for the Series S.
Yeah.
And if they are indeed not bringing it out for another 2 years, at that point, it should be able to be produced with power that's very much a Series S or better in terms of performance. Because you look at the Series S, it's built on a 7-nanometer process. They're already talking about 2-nanometer now. So that chip in that thing's going to be like way smaller, a fraction of the size. They'll be able to use way less power. It should be doable. If you look at a Steam Deck and compare that to last gen's consoles, the Steam Deck will play just about every single game better than the last gen console. So that's kind of where the handheld could be for Microsoft 2 years from now. It should be as good or better than a Series S in my mind. But I don't know. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. I don't know. But
before we go, I saw a tweet before we went live that the Steam machines might be coming back.
So I didn't see that, but that's another one I've preached. Like, if we want to look at Steam as a fourth potential competitor, if they take all their learnings from the Steam Deck and build a full-blown console, that could be amazing.
Yeah.
That could be absolutely amazing. Build like a Series X size console, something like that. The big problem with the Steam machine last time was, the OS wasn't near ready for prime time. Like, Proton is so much better now, right? You had one?
I had two of them. Two Alienware Alphas.
Okay, interesting. You're the only person I now know that had a Steam machine. But the other problem was they didn't have a lockdown hardware like ecosystem, if you will. Yeah. It was open to third parties to build them, and that just caused them all kinds of problems.
There were like too many SKUs, right? Wasn't there like a bunch of different ones?
Oh, there was way like too
6
many.
of them.
Yeah, they should just have like one.
And then they should have one, and they're handheld.
Yeah.
Go with that model. Build the Steam machine based off all the stuff they've learned with the handheld. Because the handheld, it still blows me away when I load up games, especially, like I say, stuff from last gen. Like, if I look at Alien Isolation, I'm playing that at like between 70 and 90 frames per second. And last gen's consoles could only do 30. And I'm running max settings, like max PC settings on it. And that's pretty crazy for what it is. And if I
have you ever played Halo on there?
I have not.
That blows me away. Like handheld Halo, I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, it runs perfectly.
Try that.
Yeah, I tried the Master Chief Collection, and it's like beautiful on there.
Okay, I'll try the Master Chief Collection. I'll
It's
do
kind
that.
of jarring. You're playing Halo 1 or 2 or 3 like on the go. It's weird, but
That's pretty cool. I'm kind of wondering why I didn't think of trying that yet.
yeah.
But I've played a lot of games, like start to finish now, on my Steam Deck entirely. And I just, I'll take it with me if I've got to go take my kids to the doctor or something. And I'm going to be sitting in the car waiting for them or whatever. Like the other day, well, I guess it's not the other day. It's a while ago. I took my wife to the doctor and I sat out in the vehicle for 2 hours and just played games while she was in getting her stuff done. And yeah, it's like a fantastic little device. So I'd love to see them build a full-sized console. That would be cool. I think they'd be able to do a fantastic job with it at this point in the game. And, much needed competition for the other ones. It'd be nice to see that. There's a question a little while back from Cougarman. Why do you think Nintendo doesn't even try to compete with PlayStation? Because I don't get it. I'll pass that to the Nintendo guy.
They are doing something entirely different and they're wildly successful at it. So they don't need to do anything differently and they would still make money hand over fist. That's why they don't do it. Why would you sink more money into hardware and stuff when you're already making they're on track to be the best selling console of all time. I mean, and they had knockouts with the Wii, which was for different reasons, but still. I mean, they've been seeing success in all these consoles except for the Wii U. So why change? Just do what you're doing.
They are the tortoise in the tortoise versus the hare.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I agree with everything you just said. I'll just add in, it's also because Nintendo fans are a little bit,
Yeah, we know that.
yeah.
Dreadpool is in the
So-
chat.
What's up, Dreadpool?
Well, like
Nice to see you.
Nintendo fans will buy, like especially Pokemon fans, they'll buy anything. You could like this. This is the last Pokemon that came out was the first one that people were like, it was too broken. Like that, I've never seen that happen before, and I've been playing Pokemon since the first one. This was the first time that people pushed back. It took this long, like 30 years, finally.
Yeah.
So they'll buy anything. You put Mario on it. It's like Disney. You put Mario on something, people will buy it. They don't have to work it as hard anymore. They have the franchises.
Yeah. True. Yeah, you're not wrong, Stevie. Horizon doesn't need to be constantly forced into our face all the time. You're
No.
not wrong. And I'm assuming you're talking about what you'd like to see, Days Gone 2. Totally agree. Days Gone, I think, got a really bad rap, but it was pretty buggy at launch, and I think that affected its review scores. I played it, years later on PC, and there was some funny physics stuff that would happen. I can remember, zombies running towards me and then suddenly shooting up into the sky, and I'm just like, oh, bye. But weird stuff like that. But I mean, to me, that's kind of funny. That doesn't bother me when that happens. It's like, that's just kind of funny. It's like the crazy physics stuff that'll happen in Halo 2, right? You're playing, or in Halo Infinite, you're playing deathmatch, and all of a sudden there's a guy just spinning around in the air after you kill him and stuff. Like,
We used to do it on purpose in the old ones. We call it stunts,
Sure.
where you would just go off like we always used to do
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, though. Like, Days Gone 2, to me, that was kind of a no-brainer, but it didn't meet Sony's sales expectations, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was a decent story. The game itself, the gameplay was pretty good. Like, I played the heck out of that game. It was fun. Any other questions from folks in the chat? Thoughts? Topics? Scrolling back in case I missed some.
I'll be right back in 1 second, guys.
Sure.
I'm reposting this. I don't know why. I posted the link to this show, but it posted my gameplay of Indiana Jones. I don't know why I did that, but whatever.
No worries. It's all good. I retweeted it just after, or reposted it just after we went live, but
Anthony's in the chat.
Sorry
what's
about
up,
that.
Anthony.
Had to turn my
How you doing,
heat
man?
down.
Oh, getting too warm. See, I have my window open. It's warmed up here now. It's like a couple degrees above zero freezing, like centigrade. So, like 36 or so, give or take a degree. Feels pretty warm compared to when it was -20, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's funny. Now I go out in a hoodie and I'm like, okay, it's nice. Good. Don't need my coat anymore. But
RWK88 with a question. Anything y'all want to see at the VGAs? Again, the Keeleys.
the Keeleys.
Like announcements, I guess, like new games, right?
I'm assuming,
Resident
yeah.
Evil. I mean, Anthony will appreciate that. Resident Evil 9, wouldn't that be sweet to see something there? I don't
That
know
would be awesome.
if he thinks that's realistic or not, but yeah, I'd love to see that. I don't know, I hope that's coming out next year. I love Resident Evil. Those games are fun. Really
Over
enjoy
under
them.
5 minutes for Kojima. At the VGA.
Oh, he'll get like 15 minutes straight,
He'll get an
Yeah.
hour.
and then they'll cut off Nintendo again, like after 2 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's funny.
I want to see me at the VGA, says Dreadful. Oh, okay.
Why does everyone want to use VGA cables? I thought we were past that.
Yeah, man, I haven't used a VGA cable in years. It's
Yeah.
been a long time.
I still
No,
have the
it's-
Xbox VGA cable for the 360.
I had
So
one of
do I.
those.
I've got one too. I wish I had a. I wish I had a real, actual CRT monitor still. I wish I would have kept my last one. Who knew that that would be something I'd be thinking these days? But yeah, be fun to have one.
Good to see
Well, that's
everybody in the
encouraging.
chat.
If Anthony thinks there's a good possibility, I'm happy. I'll just know who to hold accountable if it doesn't happen. Because now
Yes.
he's got my hopes up, and
He's in big trouble now.
I have his
Yeah.
information, so you're good.
we can track him down. Excellent. Yeah. So
720p HD. Jeff Kegels.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Kegels.
Yeah, there's those. Sony's got a 1080p. What is it? A 32-inch, I think. CRT you can get. Maybe it's not quite that big, but thing's a monster though, and they're super expensive, right? My in-laws, they had a 36-inch Sony Trinitron
Oh, the
TV, and the thing was
Trinitrons.
like
I remember those.
400 pounds. Like it was insane. I had a 55-inch projection, like Toshiba projection TV back in the day around that same time, and it was lighter than that CRT.
Wow.
And my TV was heavy. It was, I think, 275 pounds if I remember right. Yeah, and it was a beast back in the day, like 55-inch. That was like, man, I got a home theater or what? It was amazing.
So
Good
I'm going
times.
to tell you something funny. Review games at night in the chat, Richard. Years ago, I was like, because he's from Canada, I was like, you got to apologize for Jeff Keighley. And he goes, I will do. He says, I will do no such thing. Because he's embarrassed by him too.
Oh man, Keeley. Yeah, I think he's from Eastern Canada though, so that's how I can kind of go. He's one of those guys. He's not from the West. Come on, that's funny.
RWK, do you think we see GTA 6 trailer or Gears E-Day trailer? Maybe Gears, but GTA, I think they're going to show that at their own event, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, typically, people, our companies will pay to play their trailers at the Keeley Awards. I think Keeley would have to pay them to play their trailer
Oh yeah.
at the Keeley Awards. It's a unique situation when it comes to GTA 6. The hype for that is insane.
Yeah.
And I've never, for the record, I've never completed a Grand Theft Auto game. I've not even played.
Same
I've
here.
never even started GTA 5. I've never bought
Wow.
it. I know, like, people are, they've bought it 6 times. I've never paid for it. I do have it. I got it for free from Epic Games on PC, and I've never even installed it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
kinda
impressive.
Crazy.
You've
Kinda
avoided
crazy,
it
yeah,
for a decade.
Yeah, the only one that I bought was GTA 4 on Xbox 360, and I played it for, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 hours.
Oh,
That
you
was
play
it.
this one, you're gonna be playing for a lot longer.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
the only one I have completed was 5.
I never
Really?
completed it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think I
no,
beat any of them because you start the story and then you just screw around and you're like,
Yeah.
I just want to screw around for like 3 hours,
That's what always happens.
and then you go to bed. And then you never really, you don't even know where
Yeah.
you're at in the story.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny, hockey fans saying you needed like 4 people to move those damn TVs. He's not wrong. Like we did it with there was 3 of us moving that Toshiba. We had to go like from the backyard up the steps, kind of around, and then up again onto the deck to get it into the upstairs of the house. And I took the railing off on the one inside spot because we couldn't get around the corner. And the moving guy, and it was me and my brother-in-law and the moving guy, and the moving guy just kept yelling, "It's tipping!" He was totally freaking out that we were gonna drop this TV. So I mean, to this day, it's tipping whenever anything is going wrong. It's pretty funny, but yeah, that guy was hilarious. Just so concerned that we were gonna dump the TV.
It's like in your house installed, and he's just outside. It's tipping.
Yeah, but thing was crazy heavy, and awkward to carry because there's nothing really to hang on to. Yeah, dread pull pivot. Exactly. But it was pretty funny. It's tipping.
That's right. You guys we were playing GTA Online, right? And you were flying. You guys were in the car trying to fly off the ramp.
Oh yeah, that's all we did. We would just try to go off this huge ramp in the game. I remember one time we were at your house when it was on like 360. Remember we were just playing. You were playing it. We were just dying laughing for like 3 hours.
Yeah, because I was driving that smart car that had like nothing left on it, and I was avoiding the cops for like 2 hours.
You weren't even doing missions. You were literally just driving around. We were laughing at it. It was so funny.
Yeah. I don't think there has, Cougar Man. I don't think there has.
Mario Party Jamboree.
Duke Nukem Forever.
What's that?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But man, that's kind of funny. I never play the story in GTA. I just drive around destroying things. Yeah, like. Do you guys ever play that game many years ago? I think it was called Carmageddon. It was a PC game.
You know, somebody a couple of years ago gave me a physical of that on PC in the big box.
Okay.
And I installed it off the CD on like Windows, I don't know, Windows 10 or something. That game was funny. I heard about it for years, but I never played it back in the day because I was too busy with Doom and Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
And Duke Nukem. But I finally played it. I was like, holy crap, like people love this game and it's fun. Like it's crazy. So I bought the one on Xbox One, and that one was okay, but the original is just nuts.
I played the newer one. That's the only one I ever played.
It's fun, but the original one's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been the original that I played, and it reminded me of the old that old movie Death Race 2000. Just driving around killing people with cars. Like, you ever see that? It's like Stallone was in it. It's it's from the 70s, I think.
I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah, like they did a remake of it that's not the same as the original, but they kind of changed it a bit. But man, I tell you, that was funny. Stallone, I think his character was Machine Gun Joe or something, and he had just machine guns mounted on the front of the car, and it was just nuts. I remember the one scene that, I mean, I'm like a little kid. I never should have been watching that movie, but I remember the one scene. There's like the doctors wheeled all the patients out that were sick onto the road for the cars to go by and kill them all. And so then the doctors are all hiding behind these shrubs along the side. And you see, I think it was Machine Gun Joe that was coming at them, and he suddenly swerves off the road and then kills all the doctors behind the shrubs and keeps going. And it's like the announcers are like, "Oh man, he just gave up an easy 2,000 points for whatever, right? Like it was a much lower number." And it was just like, "Oh my gosh, like what a show, like what a movie, what a concept that was going to be happening in the year 2000." It's pretty funny.
RWK says, Mental 9R, did you like Kane and Lynch 1 and 2?
I didn't play them. I've never played Kane and Lynch. So I guess that's a I don't know or a no. Take it either way. I haven't played them. I actually think I might have one of those games.
I think
Maybe.
Only the second one is backwards compatible on the Series X, but the first one is not, which is weird.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I might have one of them. Like I can visualize the Xbox 360 cover for it.
Yeah.
And I think I might have one of them, but I've never played them. Are they good? Have you guys played them?
I like the first one a little bit. A lot of people don't like that one. The second one, it's okay, but it's more of an action game. The first one is more like a Hitman type game. It's made by the same people, I think. Is it IO Interactive, Frank?
Yeah, it's IO. I've never
Yeah.
played them, but yeah, it's
The
IO.
first one, I think Michael Mann wrote the story or directed the game or something. The guy that did Heat.
Okay.
The second one is more of an action game, and you play it for 5 minutes. You're like, yeah, this is not Kane and Lynch. This is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried them, but maybe that'll be a backlogs and replay episode or something. I don't know, but we'll see. Got so many games that we want to try and do. It's amazing how much time it takes doing a show like that, where you're picking a game and then you got to play it for the next 2 weeks, and you want to try and finish it if at all possible. And yeah, it's funny. I used to always have like 2 or 3 games on the go all the time, and now I just can't do that because I'm having to focus on these other games all the time. But it's been fun. Played a lot of games that I wouldn't have otherwise played, so it's been entertaining. If nothing else, we're enjoying it. Even if no one watches the videos, we're still enjoying it. We're getting to play these games. So like Finn had never played Callisto Protocol or Dead Space, and he ended up really liking both of them. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we made fun of that game when it came out because it ran like crap. But then they fixed it, and I was like, this is the best game ever. I love this game.
Yeah, I've played Callisto Protocol right through 3 times now.
Yeah.
And it's a game I'll probably play again, to be perfectly
Final Transmission.
honest.
You got to play that one.
I have, yeah. I did
Oh,
play
okay.
that.
All right, good.
Yeah, last time through on PlayStation. I picked it up because it was $7 for it. So
How did it feel with that weapon?
That weapon was
There you go.
fun. Like, that is beast mode. That was good times. I enjoyed that.
They should have somehow put that, like, when they wrapped it up, they should have said, you know what? You can now play it in the story, the actual story of the game. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, it was, like if you went into, what is it, New Game Plus, and you got to take that with you, that would have been like, it kind of would have been like playing on easy mode, I guess, but still, it would have been fun. I was a little disappointed I didn't get to do that. But good
That
times,
game-
though, definitely.
I beat that on the Series X. And then it was
Okay.
cheap on PC, and they fixed it, and I bought it. And I haven't looked back. That game is incredible.
Yeah, I played it on PC. I played a good chunk of it on Steam Deck too. I got to a point. There's that one section. Remember where you go across on the little tram thing and you're going onto the big ship?
Yeah.
And as you're coming across, there's one of those spitter things spitting at you, and you can kill those guys, no problem. But you get into that first room with all the gears that you switch the fuses around, then everything starts starting up and all the gears are going. And there's something in that room that even like on the PlayStation 5, on the Xbox, it drops quite a few frames. And it was just like the game went from being totally playable on Steam Deck to completely unplayable.
Wow.
I just could not get past that level because it kept on. The lag was so bad because I don't know, the frame rate was probably down to around 20 frames per second. It was just too hard to control, and because you got to kind of grab those guys and throw them into the gears, and be fairly quick with it because they come in groups, and I just couldn't get it with the Steam Deck, so fired it up on PC and got through that section. But then I just kept playing on PC, so I kind of beat it twice on PC, and then I've beat it on PlayStation, and I've actually got a game going on my Series X now too.
Nice.
But same with like Dead Space, I beat it on PC, then PlayStation, and I'm playing it on Series X as well. So I guess I do kind of have multiple games going, but it's not really the same as the way I used to do it, where I'd just switch between them and kind of stay fresh on 3 different games. Don't do that anymore. I just don't have time.
Yeah.
YouTube takes up too much time. It does.
Oh yeah.
I find all I'm ever doing, it feels like all I do, like now that I'm trying to get out more videos on a more regular cadence, it feels like all I ever do is edit videos.
Yeah.
And it's hard to even, like, I haven't played Silent Hill now for a couple days again. Just because I'm sitting editing video, or I'm watching your freaking channel all the time too. Like, what's that all about?
I got the Pro over here, and I even told him, I was like, we're gonna get the Pro, and I'm not gonna even play it half the time.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not playing. I played Resident Evil 1 the other day. It's like I finally have time to play games.
That's worth it.
The heck with the Pro. I'm gonna play Resident Evil 1.
Resident Evil 1 on the Pro. There you go. Really putting that thing to use.
Yeah,
That's
no, I'm
funny.
good. I played on RetroArch on PC, and we're good.
I'm playing on the Pro, but I'm playing games that aren't enhanced. I've been playing Like a Dragon for like 50 hours over the course of weeks. It's not even enhanced, so.
This is a kid's show, RWK. Come on, we can't say that. Let's just say I wouldn't be shocked, but I would be shocked.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah, that'd be a little bizarre. Actually, forget it. Forget it. But anything else from the chat? We can probably wrap it up. I'm sure, Perry, you probably want to live stream something, so we can wrap up here if there's no other questions from anyone or thoughts. But give you guys 2 seconds to respond. No, doesn't look like it. So why don't we let them know where they can reach you? Frank, go for it.
Twitter at FZAH928, just like it says on my thing here. I have all my gamer tags and PSN, all that is in there. And you can catch me Wednesdays between 9:30 and 10 p.m. on the Game Complainers with Perry and Anthony and Fred.
Cool.
Good old Fred.
Thanks. And I'll quickly give my thoughts on RWK's question. If they go proprietary, no. Unless they come out with some kind of housing that allows you to put any drive in it, which I still think they could do for this generation, but they refuse to. I don't know. Anytime you go proprietary, it always ends up costing way too much money. So if they go down that path again, I think that'd be a huge mistake. I think just go with an open system, one that you can actually do, like rip the internal drive out of, put a bigger one in because it's just Windows. Go that route. Let people have their mini PC under their TV that plays everything. Perry, let them know where they can reach you.
You can find me on YouTube at The Game Complainers with Frank, Fred, and Anthony every Wednesday night between 9:30 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Eastern. We do a podcast once a week there. Sometimes we do on Mondays as an off day. We'll do a podcast, but we kind of cut that off a little bit. Maybe we'll start that up again in the new year. We don't know yet. We only did that as like a breaking news type thing for Mondays, or if we really got mad about something.
Monday rants.
Yeah, the rant. Oh man, those rants. I don't know how I didn't get in trouble for that one the other day.
Yeah, that was something. But
I
what
didn't
I
even
don't
plan
know.
on
It
going
was
on that
something.
rant. We were gonna rant on Verizon.
That's hilarious.
We didn't even make it 15 minutes into the show, and you were full bore rant. It was
Okay,
awesome.
I didn't expect to
That's
get
funny.
that phone call from that customer. That's why.
It was good. It was a good rant.
You have to
Oh,
understand,
jeez.
like I said, I had just come home from the supermarket, okay? And the phone's ringing. It's in my bag. So I go on my bag. The cats jump on me. So I'm like this now. I'm getting the phone, and I'm like this, and I'm hunched over because I got a cat on my head, and I got a cat on my shoulder. I have Sphinx cats. They're 8 months old.
Oh, jeez.
And this is what they're not like regular cats where they just lay down and eat or whatever. These cats are all over you. So I'm like this, and the guy's like, hello, and I'm like, yeah, and he said hello like 3 times or whatever. Even I think he was trying to put it on speaker on his end, but couldn't figure it out. And then he's just like, hello, I have so and so figurines, and I was like, yeah, we don't take toys. I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. They are not toys. They are figurines, and they're
figurines.
worth a lot of money.
Okay.
And I'm just like, yeah, we only take video games. And then he's asked me about PS4, like how much I would take for a trade. And I'm telling him as I'm telling him, he hangs up on me, and I'm like, you SOB, right? He couldn't hear me,
Jeez.
hung up already. But I'm like this, and I still have the cats on me, and I'm like,
Really,
I'm
just
hunched
feeling
down
it.
like this. I'm not standing like this. I'm like,
That's
You
funny.
should have just
man.
put the cats on the phone. That's what I would have done. Just said, "Here, you take that."
yeah, I would have to
Yeah.
go like this and let them.
Meow away, but
And
good times.
so that just, I don't know, drove me off the
Set the
handle. a little
tone.
bit.
Yeah, set the tone for you. I get it. It makes me think of. I won't get into the old stories, but yeah, dealing with people directly like that. I feel your pain, man. I feel
It
your
never
pain.
ends.
It doesn't. But hey, I want to thank both you guys for joining me tonight because Finn is in an area where the internet's just not good. And we tried to even just figure out if we could do something yesterday, and there was just no way. The reliability there just isn't good enough. So hopefully he's doing okay and things are going all right there with
Shout out to
what
Finn.
he's dealing with his wife and everything. And hope that all goes through okay. And well, they get through everything and works out. So, buddy, thinking of you. And thank you to Frank and Perry for joining us. And I will wrap it up here. I'm Mental9R. You can find me on X at Mental9R, on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, and just about anywhere else you can play games. This is Caffeine Entertainment. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe on the way out. And hey, maybe even share it out with a friend or two. That's it. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget, it's time to wake up and play some games. Take it easy, everyone.
Bye.